Okay, so it is able to pick us up.
Sweet.
And going live. Hello, people. OBS has been acting very, very weird for me today, so I'm sorry if there's some weird technical difficulties while we're doing this. Hi, I'm Michael. You probably know me from things that I've been in. This is James. Say something, James.
Something, James.
I had to make sure you were even there. Okay.
Well, here I am. I'm not a ghost.
Okay, so I finally figured this out. I just need to make sure that... Oh, great. Now is the game audio not cooperating with me?
Welcome to live entertainment, everybody.
Welcome to me trying to configure shit that was working 5 seconds ago.
See, his equipment has performance anxiety, I think.
I guess. Oh, wait. There we go.
Right now we're kicking with gas.
Haha. Need to adjust that real quick. Of course it decides to be difficult, literally like for the past 30 minutes before I start. Oh, and also I should probably post that we're starting.
Whew.
And there we go. All right, let's get this started.
Let's rock and roll.
Skip the cutscene. I played this game so many times. I've played this game so many times.
I think I played it once.
Pikmin 2?
Back when. Yeah. I played the original one more than this. But I played this at a friend's house.
Oh, I remember I actually learned about Pikmin through a friend when I was like in elementary school. And actually, this was the first one I played. I didn't play the first Pikmin until like years later.
I'd heard of the first one from, of all things, it was a promo with Luigi's Mansion.
Oh, well, I mean, that's how I think a lot of people heard of it. I actually remember hearing about it through the commercials for it, because I didn't have a GameCube till I was like 9? I think I was 8 or 9. And at the time, I just kind of looked at Pikmin and was like, nah, not really interested in it. And then a friend had Pikmin 2, and I was like, I need this game. And then I got Pikmin 2, and it's like one of my favorite games ever.
You see, I think I remember the commercials too, but like I didn't get a GameCube till I think 2003-ish, because the main reason I got it was for Double Dash, but we got Luigi's Mansion as well.
Holy.
And I think it's like a special edition, because at the time they had a promo that was like, oh yeah, we're going to include this this has like the first 2 NES games, the 2 N64 games, and a 20-minute demo of the Wind Waker.
I remember the Game Boy player was something I always wanted but never got.
Yeah, we never got that either.
Well, and I don't even have a GameCube anymore. That's kind of the other issue.
I don't think I do. I mean, my brother's kind of the one that does a lot of the retro gaming and has a lot of the old systems we used to play on. Like, well, he doesn't have my original NES. He has a top loader. Mine was the gray box. He does have my original Genesis.
I have a Genesis. I bought a Genesis. I played a shit ton of Genesis games as a kid, but those were on a CD I had as a kid.
I think I know what CD you're talking about.
Yeah, it was like Sega Smash Pack is what it was called, and it was like
that was it. Yeah, that was
it was a 2-disc compilation set of Genesis games. I think it was like 15 games. I know it was Off-Road, Vector Man 2, Sonic 2, Shining Force, Kid Chameleon, Altered Beast. There was, I think, Road Rash. I forget. It was some biking game. Flicky, and I want to say there was a couple others.
Comic Zone.
Oh yeah, Comic Zone was another one. What else?
Yeah, that was the one I liked playing because I didn't have the original Sega version of that, so I just played it on that game.
I feel like I'm forgetting like a couple more. I want to say that there was like maybe two. I want to say. Oh, Columns. Columns was another one.
Yeah, I was gonna say Columns was one because when I was a kid, we had we had one that was like the Sega 6-pack. It was a multi-cart that came with the system. And it was it had a little bit of everything. It had Sonic 1. It had I believe it was Super Hang-On, which was a biking game. Golden Axe.
Golden Axe. That was another. That was another one.
Yeah, Golden Axe was fun. Me and my dad used to play that one all the time. Always played as the dwarf, the dwarf with the
Gilius.
axe.
Gilius Thunderhead,
yeah.
I believe was his name.
And my dad was the swordsman. We called him Lion-O because I watched the Thundercats growing up, and he looked kind of like Lion-O, but with more natural hair color.
Yeah.
So,
I remember the only reason I remember Gilius was explicitly because he's like the one that they've used in other things, like other crossover games. Like, I genuinely, to this day, I do not know the names of the other two characters.
I don't either. I
It's
know
Gilius
Thunder.
Gilius Thunderhead is the name of the dwarf.
Because I think he had like didn't he have like lightning powers? Or...
He had lightning. The dude had. I don't remember what the guy had. I think explosions. And I know that the girl had fire.
Explosion.
The girl had like fire powers and like the coolest. And also she had the coolest summon where she could summon a fucking dragon to like do like a screen clearing move.
Yeah, like like sort of okay, this shit's getting out of hand. We gotta bounce kind of button.
Yeah.
Streets of Rage had the same thing. Like they had like the clear all button, but it was like you'd call the cops, and like for some reason they got like a fucking RPG or a mortar or something.
Yeah, I want to say there was maybe one more game, but I want to say that was all the games.
They had like one that wasn't a Genesis game. It was like a match 3 game called Swirl, I think.
Oh yeah, that was like a pack-in. That I think that wasn't actually like technically part of the thing though.
Yeah, it wasn't like part of the actual game. It was just a little like bonus pack-in they threw in.
Yeah, it was like a browser-based thing almost, I think.
Yeah, most of the Genesis games I remember though were aside from all the ones we mentioned because they're all classics. I had like the 2 X-Men games growing up.
I never had those. I also remember I got a Genesis from a game store where I used to live, and I bought a few things. I got the original Mortal Kombat 2, and that was how I learned that the original Mortal Kombat games are a bitch. Like,
sure,
they are stupid fucking hard.
Well, I remember the one thing about the second X-Men game was, for some reason, it didn't start off with a title screen. It was like it would start.
Oh yeah, it started. It just threw you into the game.
Tundra that you start off in,
and I think it
with a random character.
I think it's the only Genesis game where it does that. I think it's the only Genesis game where it like is the. I think it's the only game where it doesn't show you the title screen at the start.
No, it starts you right in the game, and I always liked they didn't let you choose the character until after that first level.
Well, yeah, so they would give you a random X-Men character.
Yeah, so if it was somebody I didn't like, I would just restart the game.
Yeah, that's what I did when I played it. You just you just reset the game until you got a character you wanted.
Like I remember who you could play as because I want to say
Psylocke, Beast.
Psylocke was the one I remember.
Psylocke, Beast, Cyclops, and I Wolverine, and I forget. I think Nightcrawler was the other one.
I think so, because I remember Psylocke for sure. Because that was what actually introduced me to that character.
That's actually that's how I
too.
learned about Psylocke was from playing that game.
Yeah, because I knew the others like Cyclops, Wolverine, Beast. I knew.
Well, yeah, because they were all the movie and game and cartoon characters. Like they were the ones in everything.
Yeah, those games and the cartoon were my only exposure to X-Men at the time, but I still was a big fan. But I remember the first one. I liked that one a bit more because I could play as Gambit. He was my favorite.
Oh, Gambit! I think that was the other one at the start.
Oh yeah, you could play as him too. Yeah, that I always want to do. Like I keep restarting. I probably do it 20 times where I get Gambit. I'd be like, I get Beast 5 times in a row. Like I don't want to play as this fat bastard. I
feel like that's not good for the cartridge, probably, but.
Hey, they shouldn't have designed it that way.
Like, in hindsight, I think about that, and I feel like that probably wasn't good for the cartridge. To have to keep, like, resetting it over and over and over.
It's like the developers like, okay, yeah, maybe we should have thought that through, but the idea is life's one big shit sandwich and you all gotta take a bite.
I'm convinced. When I hear the rocket talking, that is Birdo. Like, I am convinced that that is just audio sampling of Birdo from Double Dash that they just repurposed.
I was thinking something totally different. I was thinking Animal Crossing, rather.
Animal House, my favorite Nintendo game.
Yes. But Animal Crossing, yeah, I was thinking that for some reason.
It might be that too. I personally think it sounds a lot like Birdo, but I don't know. Maybe they did use some of the Animal Crossing techniques because I don't 100% know how they did the Animal Crossing speech.
I'm not some sort of synthesizer.
Oh, I wouldn't be shocked if they did it with some kind of instrument or something to like create the sound effects and they just like digitally spliced it. Like I think like Totaka I think is like the primary one where I think they used an instrument to create his speech pattern.
So I know that with KK Slider, because I know with KK Slider, like they make like some sort of synths or VST packs to mimic like his little instruments and his singing pattern.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if they had to use an actor to like do something like that, or they had to use like I've always been very curious to know what the behind the scenes process of creating that speech pattern was.
Also, that pulling sound effect wasn't that like a Looney Tunes sound effect at first, or
what like the little popping sound when they pop out?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it like the little that's like an old cartoon sound effect when they pop out of the ground.
Yeah, I just have like an ear for that sort of thing. Like, you know, different sound effect libraries and who did what sound. So I'm pretty sure Warner Brothers did that one. Like, for some reason Disney used the one sound of theirs for Hey Hey and Moana, that kind of chicken sound, that bagak, you know that.
Oh, the stock chicken sound that they've used in everything for like 70 years.
Yes, that's a Warner Brothers sound effect originally.
I'm still so weirded out at the fact that a lot of this stuff in this is like actually licensed products.
I was just about to mention products.
That is straight up, it's not even a parody. That is a Duracell battery. Like, that's not even a parody. That is just straight up the Duracell logo. It's spelled exactly how it's spelled. Like,
did they get like some licensing deal with
there's
this,
a
or-
lot of licensing shit in this. It's really, really weird. And I think for the Switch version, they had to actually edit, maybe I'm thinking of something else, but I want to say for the Switch version of this game, when they ported it, they ended up having to, redo a lot of the treasures because they had licensed things on them, and because this game is 20 years old, they ended up they lost a lot of those licensing agreements.
It's like I think in the original Monkey Ball games, like they had the Dole everywhere, like Dole bananas everywhere on the collectibles.
Yeah, they had a partnership with Dole of all companies.
And they had to like in the remakes they had to remove all the branding. Oh, that's another game I had on GameCube back then. Was the original Monkey Ball.
I've never played a Monkey Ball game before. I've been interested for a long time, but I've never actually played them.
It's fun, but you can
Hard.
obviously a little
Hard.
frustrating. It's hard and frustrating because you're not actually moving the monkey. You're moving the
You're moving the stage. Yeah, that's all I've ever known about Monkey Ball is that like people like them, but they're really frustrating.
Well, that and apparently for the longest time the speed run community was said to be like completely ironclad from cheaters until somebody actually cheated it. Like
Yeah,
20 years
I
later.
remember hearing something about that. I also know, did you ever see that video of that guy? I forget his name, but he went all the way to Sega's headquarters to, like, make a statement about the fact that there wasn't a new Monkey Ball game.
I've never seen that. But...
Oh, so a guy went to Japan and printed out a oversaturated, cropped photo of a character from Monkey Ball, which I think it was like Sega had it in their license that like you legally can't manipulate images of their work or something like that. So he manipulated an image of one of their works, turned it into a sticker, he flew all the way to Japan, turned it into a sticker, printed it out at a kiosk in Japan, went to Sega's headquarters, which he was not allowed to do, walked into one of their offices and plastered the sticker on the wall of one of their offices. And then he left. And he technically committed industrial espionage by doing that.
That's the least.
Or not industrial espionage. He did, I forget what it was, something espionage. He technically committed a crime. Nothing happened to him because it was such a nothing thing that he did, but he technically committed a crime by doing it.
I'm surprised they didn't just throw the book at him.
Well, he never got caught. That's kind of the other thing. He never got caught by Sega, and what probably happened was somebody got that sticker and they just threw it away. That's probably exactly what happened.
I guess he's in the same sort of Bermuda Triangle situation as the Max Headroom hijack guy.
The guy who they never caught. And I don't mean here's the thing. We know who the guy is who did the Monkey Ball thing. That Max Headroom, if I recall correctly, we to this day don't know who that Max Headroom guy was.
Yeah, he never got caught.
Never got caught. Somehow never got caught.
Later.
Yeah.
He could be dead for all we know.
Yeah, that's the thing. We don't know. We know that there were two people involved, and to this day, we still don't know who either of them were.
Yeah, one was the dude in the mask, and the
other was a
woman
woman.
slapping his ass with
say
a fly. It was a woman who was slapping his ass with a fly swatter.
Yeah, and we never found out who this guy was, and I still find that crazy to this day that nobody knows who he was. And didn't he do it twice?
Yeah, he did it once.
I gotta say, didn't he do it like on two separate occasions? One time it was during an episode of Doctor Who. And the other one was during a news broadcast.
Yeah, the news broadcast was the first one because they managed to regain the signal quite quickly. So all they did was just like him staring into the camera. The other one was on PBS. It was a rerun of Doctor Who, a Tom Baker episode, if I remember.
And it was and he only went after public access. That's the other thing. It wasn't like he was hijacking like a major company like Fox or something like that.
But he had like a minute or two of this screen time, and I guess he realized, okay, I didn't think I was gonna get this far, and so started just doing random bullshit.
Well, if I recall, he was also saying like a lot of political statements, and he was making TV references like Max Headroom did, and like it's just a really weird situation that never got solved.
He said like Chuck Swirsky or liberal or something, like newspaper nerds, and then
I remember Ride the Wave, which I think
Catch the Wave. It was the
Catch
new
the
Coke,
Wave. Yeah.
Catch the Wave was the new Coke slogan. He started singing a theme to Clutch Cargo for some reason.
And didn't he call someone like, this guy's a freaking nerd? I think that's what he did.
Yeah, some guy, Chuck Swirsky, I think. But I don't know who he was, maybe a local politician. I don't know. He screamed about my files or something. Or the other one, my brother's wearing the other glove. Oh, it's dirty. And then I will have to say I will give them props for at least trying to mimic the vibe of Max Headroom, because they even had some guy in the background.
Someone like moving, and not even just that, also somebody like rotating a metal sheet behind him the entire time.
A corrugated piece of metal in the background, because those who've never seen Max Headroom, he always had like those like weird digital backgrounds or something.
Well, yeah, it was like a green screen effect or something.
Yeah, some kind of green screen, like some sort of computer graphics of the era in the background. And I guess they were trying to mimic that in a sort of a tangible way.
I remember. Do you remember the Adam Sandler movie Pixels?
Yes, I do.
So did you see it?
Yes.
Do you remember the Max Headroom cameo in that movie?
I do, and
very, very weird Max Headroom cameo. And the only reason I bring that up is I remember because if I recall correctly, I think they sent things exclusively from 1985, something like that.
It was, I think, 82 or 81.
Something like that, 80s. early to mid 80s. And I remember when that movie came out, there was people pointing out an inconsistency. Because they were like, well, Max Headroom is like one of the voices, like one of the talking heads, figuratively and literally, for the aliens. And a lot of people pointed out, Max Headroom didn't exist until 1986. And they were saying like how do they know what Max Headroom is if all the stuff they sent was from the early 80s and he didn't exist till like the late 80s?
Yeah, I'm gonna look this up. Like, what year did they?
I want to say it was like
82 or 83.
I want to say Headroom was 86, 87.
Pixels.
Because I want to say, because I know Pac-Man was 1980, and they had Donkey Kong, and I think that was 84.
The original Donkey Kong was 81.
Okay.
And then Donkey Kong 2 was 82, and then Donkey Kong 3 was 83. I mean, it's like it's a numerical order or something.
What about Mario Brothers? Was that 84?
It was 83 too.
Okay.
Now I think Kung Fu was 84.
Did they reference Kung Fu in that movie? Did they reference Kung Fu in that movie? I don't remember that.
That started off as an arcade game. Most people don't know that.
Oh! I thought you meant Kung Fu, like the show with David Carradine. I blanked. I'm like, I thought that was like late 70s, early 80s.
I wasn't referencing that. Okay, so let's see here.
A thing that nobody watching this stream probably knows what that is, unless you're like a TV and film nerd.
I didn't even know it.
Unless you're like a TV film nerd, like most people don't know what Kung Fu is anymore if you're under the age of like 30.
Okay, it says here 1982. So it was 82. I was kind of right.
Oh, for the when the stuff they sent back.
Yeah. The stuff they sent was 82. There's like a time capsule, just like American
Oh,
pop culture at that time.
oh shit! I was way off. Kung Fu was 1972. I was way off on that. I thought that was like late 70s, early 80s. I know that it was originally supposed to be for those that don't know what Kung Fu is, which is probably everyone that is listening to this stream. Kung Fu was a show that was meant to be a vehicle for Bruce Lee to like become bigger. I don't know the full story of the production, but like from what it was said, Bruce Lee was originally supposed to be the lead, and I think it was right before he died, or something had happened that made them decide we want to go a different direction. So David Carradine was cast in the lead instead, and he was Bill in Kill Bill. And I think there was like a big legal debacle between Bruce Lee's widow and the people that made the show.
John Carradine, and I was like, that's a totally different guy.
No, that's his dad. No, that was his dad.
Yeah, because I know him from like some of those public domain horror movies.
Yeah, because that's David Carradine's dad. Was John Carradine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to say there was like
that.
There was like a big legal debacle with like Bruce Lee's widow or something. I'm not 100% sure, but I want to say there was like some kind of like whole legal spat that they had, because originally Bruce was supposed to be the lead, and then all that other bullshit happened, and I think Bruce died right before production had finished, or production had started. Yeah, but when was Max Headroom?
I was gonna say, like, in Pixels, he actually does reprise the role.
Oh yeah, they brought Matt Frewer. They brought Matt Frewer
first
back.
Appearance was Max Headroom, 20 Minutes into the Future, 1985.
85. So yeah, no, Max Headroom didn't exist for 3 years. Oops.
And that's the least of the film's worries.
That's the least of that film's problems. I don't even hate that movie. Like I don't
inaccuracies
even. Like I don't even hate that movie, but like it's not a good movie.
I mean, it's a popcorn film.
Like
that's literally what it is, a popcorn film.
I would say it's like not even close to one of Sandler's worst movies, but it's not a good movie.
What would you say is Sandler's worst movie?
His worst movie. Oh my god.
His worst movie, and I know he's got quite a few stinkers.
Oh, fuck, I really have to think about that. I haven't seen, like, every one of his worst movies. But, like, I do not like 8 Crazy Nights. I really have to think. I only saw parts of Zohan, so I don't even know. Oh, also, watch what happens when you suck an animal up into this thing. Steph, where'd you come from?
I literally just hopped in like a second ago.
Hi, I'm playing Pikmin 2, and we're talking about Adam Sandler movies.
Oh.
We're trying to, like...
What do we think the worst one is?
Because I was trying to think, because I'm like, I didn't see all of Zohan, so I can't say anything about that one. I don't like 8 Crazy Nights. I'm trying to remember everything with him, is the other thing.
Didn't he do Adam and Eve, or am I thinking...
Adam and... you mean Jack and Jill?
Jack and Jill.
Jack and Jill, that's the one.
Jack and Jill is awful. But I was laughing so hard the entire time I watched that, and I think it was just because everyone else I was watching it with was absolutely miserable the entire time. Like...
So it wasn't.
Well, it's like I 100% don't. To this day, I still don't know if that was the reason I enjoyed it so much, or I was actually going insane. Like, I still don't know if I actually enjoyed it, because I didn't. It's not good. It's a horrible. It's a surprisingly racist movie. But Steph, were you there when we watched it? I think you were. That was years ago.
Yeah, it was like I think I was there for it. Like
I just
think
remember that, like, most people in the call were fucking miserable.
I think I kind of zoned out at one point. And much of the movie.
Your brain started shutting down.
Staff.exe has
Probably-
stopped working.
I guess it was like a survival mechanism kicking in.
An ancient prehistoric method of survival that human beings don't realize they have is the brain shuts down when you're halfway through an Adam Sandler movie. But no, I kind of want to watch it again with a group just to know if I was actually laughing at it just because I was losing my mind, or I was laughing at it in like, this movie is so fucking stupid I can't help but not laugh at it kind of way.
If I were to wager a guess, I think it's just the fact that you were enjoying everyone else's suffering.
Maybe because usually with really shitty comedies, especially a bad comedy, I've said this before, and I've even seen other people say it. A bad comedy is genuinely the worst kind of bad movie, in my opinion. Bad comedies are just the fucking worst kind of movies.
Mm-hmm.
Because a bad action movie, okay, yeah, you're bored, like, or this. Maybe there will be, like, a couple cool things in it, or maybe there will be, like, one good thing. A bad comedy, you're stuck there, and you have to deal with the most obnoxious fucking characters or humor, or, like...
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, a bad sci-fi or a bad horror movie...
Like,
a
bad sci-fi movie can have a few cool things in it, or maybe a couple decent ideas. Even, like, the worst can have, like, some, unless you're Battlefield Earth. But, like, even a shitty sci-fi movie can have good things about it, which, I mean, it is the case for any movie, but, like, bad comedies, I've always noticed, are just the fucking worst when it comes to bad movies. Like, I think some of, like... my top 20 worst, like, the top 20 worst movies I've ever seen, I think the majority of them are comedies.
Yeah, I've noticed, like, a lot of the time with bad movies in like most genres, you can at least, like, there's at least, like, something, I guess, unique or something.
Attack of the Clones is bad, but Attack of the Clones has cool things about it. Like,
yeah, it's like you can at least, like, point out, I guess, like, you can at least, like, make fun of other kinds of bad movies, and, like,
or you can find something
depends,
funny
but, like,
about it. Like, the norm charm.
Battlefield Earth is fucking horrible, but it's funny. Like,
yeah, it's just like with a comedy, it's like there's only so many ways you can say, like, this isn't funny.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. There's only so many ways you can say something isn't funny.
Mm-hmm.
And you're stuck there for like an hour and a half and usually bad comedy characters are the fucking worst.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if it's a bad comedy, the majority of the time you do not like any of the characters, or you don't like most of them. So you're stuck with, like, all of these characters that you can't stand for like 90 plus minutes.
I know, like,
that's the plus in a horror movie too, because if you got unlikable characters, at least
they're gonna die. At least they're gonna die at some point.
You're cheering on the bad guy, you know. So
yeah, because I know, like, one example of a really shitty comedy movie with characters that are the worst is freaking Biodome.
Oh my god, Biodome.
Sure.
The only with the smallest iota of respect, the only redeemable thing is fucking Bill Atherton as the bad guy, because good god, he's the only one trying to be funny in that movie. Mm-hmm. And even then, he doesn't have anything, like, okay to work with until the third act of the movie when he goes insane. Like, when he, like, locks himself in, like, a janitor's closet or something and, like, goes crazy. That's, like, the only part of the movie that's genuinely funny. And it's barely funny. There's, like, a couple jokes he does that are funny. I'm like, good God, he was the only one actually trying in that whole movie, which is the only respect I give him in that film. Like, oh my God, Pauly Shore and Stephen Baldwin are the fucking worst in that movie. Like, they are the actual worst. Like, there is not a single funny thing that comes out of either of those characters.
Yeah, and they never shut the fuck
They
up.
never shut the fuck up. Oh my God, they never shut up.
Like, what do you think this is? Like some 30s, 40s, like screwball comedy where there's a lot of rapid fire jokes. But the thing is, in those movies, they were well written.
Well, I've said this when we finished watching that movie, Steph. I think I'd even said most of that movie just feels like there wasn't a script.
Yeah, they're just
like most of that film does not feel like there was a script at all. It genuinely just feels like, let's just film Stephen Baldwin and fucking Pauly Shore being stupid for like an hour.
Yeah, like it feels like most of the air quotes like comedy in that movie is just those two running around screaming like fucking idiots.
There's nothing. There's like no plot to that movie for a good like 45, 50 minutes. Like,
it's just bad improv.
No, it really is. It's just them fucking around like the fucking like the observatory for like 30 plus minutes. And there's just nothing funny about it. It's just them yelling and doing stupid shit and hurting themselves. It's like Jackass, but not funny.
Let me put it this way for those that don't quite get the gravity of the situation. This is one of the movies they have on pay TV in hell.
It's a movie. Well, fun fact, I remember learning a while back that movie was supposed to be a sequel to fucking Bill and Ted originally. Like, I guess apparently the script to that movie was like a rough draft to a sequel of Bill and Ted that never got made. Which, oh my God, that was written by somebody who didn't remotely understand the characters of Bill and Ted.
Uh-huh.
If that's the case, Keanu and Alex, they dodged a bullet.
I'm not even going to act like Bill and Ted are like the deepest fucking characters in the world. They're not, and they know that they're not. They're not. They're stupid. But they're really good-hearted idiots. That's like but I'm not going to say they're great characters, but they're likable characters.
Yeah, you root for them in their movies.
No, and again, they're just nice. They're just like generally nice, and they don't really have any major conflicts between them. They're just nice. Also, I one of my favorite lines in any comedy ever is in the second Bill and Ted movie, and it's the part where they go to hell, and they're like going through the hallways of hell, and in the movie, have you seen Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey?
Yes, I love that movie.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, the joke of hell in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey is that all of it is just long hallways, but it's just short enough that it's annoying. So the roof is like just low enough that like you have to like crouch and run. And so they're like crouch walking through the entire like the entire area of hell, and it's when they both see like their version of hell, which is like, I think it's like Ted's grandmother, who's like this horrible cryptid old woman who's also played by Alex Winter, and Bill, what is it with Bill? It's the Easter Bunny, isn't it? It's like the Easter Bunny or something like that. I forget 100% what it is. I think it's like he stole something from his sister's Easter basket when he was a kid. But like, they both run out of their version of hell back to the hallway, and Ted just yells, "Dude, hell sucks!" It's like one of my favorite lines in any comedy. It's just, "Dude, hell sucks!"
Here's one of my favorite bits from that movie. Whenever they meet death, and like there's the whole thing where like you have to beat.
You
death
sunk
in the
my
game.
battleship.
They're doing all these.
They're like, instead of playing chess, he's like, well, what game do you want to play? And they like play Guess Who and like a bunch of other shit, and it just cuts to them playing Battleship, and he just goes, B12, you sunk my battleship.
Didn't they play Twister too?
They play like 5 different games. Like,
And they cream them every single time.
yeah, no,
Oh, man.
I'm trying to think of like, let me pull it up actually in another
I
tab.
gotta watch that fucking movie again.
Well, because I remember. Okay, here we go. I pulled up like the worst movies I've ever seen, like my list. Old Dogs is 100% the worst comedy I've ever seen.
Oh god, that thing.
The one
That movie is bullshit.
with Robin Williams and John Travolta. Genuinely, like, embarrassed that they're like I'm embarrassed for them for being, well, maybe not so much John Travolta, because John Travolta's done a lot of dog shit, but like that is embarrassing that Robin is even in that movie.
Yeah, I had to do a double take when he said his name. It's like, wait, Robin Williams did a shitty movie.
Oh, he's done a lot of shitty movies. Like I love Robin, but he did a lot of shitty movies.
And I'm sure he was the best part in all those movies.
What were you gonna say, Steph?
I'm just remembering, like, wasn't when we watched that, like, didn't we?
We skipped through some of it. I think we got like halfway, and we were. There was like 4 or 5 of us, and we were all fucking miserable and just hated every minute of it. And we were like just praying for something funny to happen. And I think the whole time we were all just fucking irritated, like by the halfway point. And I literally, I remember asking, do you guys just want me to skip to like the last like 10 minutes just to see how this movie ends? And it was like just them in a zoo, and I think like one of the characters was just like flying in the air over the zoo. And I remember we were all just at a point where we were just like, okay, whatever. I don't fucking care anymore. Like, that movie genuinely like made me angry how fucking mad I was at how terrible it was. Which is like the worst kind of bad movie to me, is a movie that genuinely makes me angry. Like, makes me angry on top of bores me. Because it was, let's see, Old Dogs. Smosh the Movie was another one that was on like, oh, holy shit, that was on like another level of bad. Like, Old Dogs, I will say, is the worst comedy I've ever seen, but like Smosh the Movie was like impressively bad. Like, I didn't expect anything. I didn't expect anything that great going into it, and I honestly find it really funny that even Ian and Anthony fucking hate that movie. But like, no, I've watched like some of the recent stuff they've done where they've like sat down and talked about older videos and shit, and even they fucking hate that movie. But like, I remember watching that movie, and that movie, like, that whole movie just made me mad. Like, I think that entire movie just made me angry. Which I to this day will always remember the thing I hated the most about it, other than the fact it wasn't funny, was the fact that there is not one genuine female character in that movie. And I don't mean that there aren't. There are, but none of them are characters. Like, every woman, no, not even that. Every woman in that movie is treated like an object. Like, there is not a single female character in that movie that is treated like an actual human being.
They're basically just like props.
Yeah, like
Exactly.
every scene in that movie that involves a female character, they are just treated like props. Like, or they're either like punching bags, they're used for sex appeal, or they are just stereotypes. There is, like, genuinely not a single good female character in that movie. And it was kind of disgusting. Like, I was really... And I remember all of us were kind of that, because I think it was the point when they go to, like, one part, because it's about them jumping through YouTube to, like, delete an embarrassing video of Anthony, and at one point, I think they just end up in an area with a bunch of swimsuit models, and and I think by that point, I was so burned out by the whole movie, I just kind of sat and realized, like, there's not been a single woman in this movie that's been, like, an actual character. It was just all, like, the whole time, it was like, whoa, dude, look at all these hot babes. Yeah, look at her boobs. There's literally a girl called Butt Massage Girl in the movie. And it's literally, that is like a side plot, is that Ian wants to meet this girl called Butt Massage Girl, and he doesn't even know her fucking name.
So we're doing like the recess type of naming here.
Yeah, like they never, like they never even give her a name. No, they do give her a name, and it's the last joke of the movie. And do you remember the last joke of the movie, Steph?
I do, yep.
The really transphobic twist at the end. Where the whole joke is that at the end of the movie, they miraculously solve the problem by changing the video, but they end up getting Butt Massage Girl to, like, tag along with them. And at the end of the movie, I'm not even kidding, the literal final line of the movie is, like, the girl Anthony likes talking to Butt Massage Girl, and she's like, oh, what's your name? My name's Scott.
Yeah,
and then Ian goes, what the fuck? And that's literally, they cut to credits right after he says that. And I kind of hate that that was the closest thing to an actual joke in the movie. And it's like, and it is the most transphobic shit.
I'd like to apologize and on behalf of whoever was responsible for that joke, Steph.
No, I genuinely hate that it is like the only joke in the entire movie. Or it's the closest thing to an actual joke, and it's super transphobic. Hi, people watching the stream right now. We're talking about the Smosh movie.
And, like, I also remember, I think, like, the final climax or whatever, like, I know, like, the whole thing is them going into the internet to get a video...
deleted?
Yeah, somehow that ends up with them, like, literally traveling back in time.
Traveling back in time to change the video? Which makes no sense?
Mm-hmm. Like, they literally go to the time period where the video was, like, when it was, like, initially filmed. I'm just like, how the fuck did we get here?
Also, by the way, if one of you can check the stream real quick, because I don't know, is the audio fucking up? Because I actually found out that with the Mega Man stream, the audio fucked up at one point, and you can't hear you guys anymore after a point. Yeah, check the YouTube stream real quick. I'm doing this just to double check, just so the people... Like, can the people in chat hear us?
Yeah, let me see here.
I guess I'm checking. Like, can people in the chat hear us right now? Because, like, this, I can't check because my computer is also, like, recording, like, the whole desktop right now. So, okay, good. Someone just confirmed that the audio's good.
Stacy said it's good. So awesome.
Okay, yeah. I wanted to make sure because when we did the Mega Man stream last time, I found out when I went back and like re-listened to it that your guys' audio fucking cut out for some reason. Like, halfway through.
That's weird.
Yeah, and for, like, the rest of the stream, like, you can't hear you guys, like, at all. But yeah, no, hi, we're talking about, for the people that are here, the reason we were talking about the Smosh movie is because we were talking about, like, the worst movies we've ever seen. And it's not the worst we've ever seen, but the Smosh movie is definitely one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Trying to think of like another really, really bad comedy off the top of my head.
Oh, I remember one. Do you remember movie 43?
Oh my god, yes.
Oh, fucking
Oh.
shit.
That's another one where I just feel embarrassed for all the people that are in it.
Was that the one where, like, they basically...
They somehow got like a shit ton of A-list actors and comedians to be in it, and it's
like,
just
they,
a...
like, blackmail them? Or
Yeah,
like,
supposedly,
doing it, or...
supposedly the Farrelly brothers blackmailed some of the talent to be in it because it's full of like big name people like Hugh Jackman and Halle Berry and Kate Winslet and God, I'm trying to even remember. There's so many people in it. Gerard Butler and Christopher Mintz-Plasse and Chris Pratt and Elizabeth Banks, and like there's just tons of people in it. And it is one of the most juvenile fucking movies I've ever seen in my life. And it's like
the only redeeming quality of this movie is that it no longer made Catwoman the worst film in Halle Berry's library.
I debate that because Catwoman's pretty bad.
Yeah, but this is worse.
Steph, remember when me and you watched Catwoman just by ourselves because nobody else joined the chat that night? So I was like, okay, I guess we're watching Catwoman. And we could barely make commentary. We were so bored.
Yeah, like, I'm just like, how is a movie that fucking stupid also just that boring?
Miserably boring. Like, we could barely make commentary. I think I remember, like, more than halfway through, I was just like, can this movie do something that I can comment on? Because, like, we were almost dead quiet for, like, most of the movie. I think most of our commentary was just us going, this is so fucking boring.
Yeah.
Like, I think that was the majority of our commentary, was us just bored out of our fucking minds.
See, now I'm just curious because there's the whole legend about like George Clooney like saying, "Listen, if you went to see Batman and Robin, I will pay you back the money you paid."
Oh, he does.
Well,
He does.
The same thing.
Yeah, George Clooney does do that. If you can, like, I don't remember if it's like if you can prove it. I think you have to like prove it by like showing him a ticket stub or something.
See, I saw it as a kid. It was the first movie I've ever seen in a theater. I thought it was fun.
Well, you were also a kid. That's the other thing.
I was like 4 years old, so make of that what you will.
4-year-olds think like fucking everything is awesome. That's like the other thing.
That's the first movie I saw with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it.
I remember.
Halle Berry would do the same thing. Like if you told her, yeah, I want to see Catwoman.
I want a fucking refund.
I want a refund.
I want a refund
21.
I want a refund 21 years later.
I want to see a picture of you. I want to take a picture of you with that fucking Razzie you won for this movie.
Also, I think she's like one of the only people to ever actually show up for their Razzie nomination.
She graciously accepted the.
Oh yeah, no, she literally said something along the lines of, like, I'm sorry for being in a piece of shit, god-awful movie.
It was like, I think she said, I want to personally thank Warner Brothers for giving me the opportunity to be in this piece of shit, god-awful movie.
So even she thought it was bullshit.
Oh no, even she, I wouldn't be shocked if everybody involved in that movie fucking hated it.
Well, everybody except the guy who greenlit it, of course.
Even then.
Yeah, I mean, it is regarded as like one of the worst comic book movies ever, and like just one of the worst movies ever in general.
It is. It definitely is.
Yeah, I know somebody else who showed up for their Razzie was Tom Green after Freddy Got Fingered one.
I mean, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's on brand for him.
He brought his own red carpet to the occasion.
I fucking love Tom Green, so I unironically like fucking love Tom Green. I don't like sometimes you can kind of annoy me with some of the shit he did, but holy shit, he I fucking love Tom. Like, not even just as, like, a comedy person, just, like, as a person. He has his own personal YouTube channel. He lives in a fucking trailer, and he just travels.
Hey, good for him.
Yeah, he just does travel vlogs. I think he has a farm. I think he, like, owns a farm, and he just does, like, travel vlogs, and he has, like, he has, like, an RV, and he just, like, travels the world. And I was like, good for him. Good for him. He's just doing what he likes.
That's oddly wholesome. So good for him. Shit, now I think you made me a fan of Tom Green tonight.
Oh no! I genuinely like Tom Green.
Well, I genuinely like him now too because he sounds like a chill dude. I've never seen any of this. I've never even seen that movie before. But
Oh, Freddy Got Fingered is an experience. That's the only way I can genuinely describe that movie. It is an experience of a film. Like, it is something I genuinely recommend everybody to watch at least once. It is an experience. I personally think it's one of the funniest fucking movies I've ever seen in my life. I would also 100% understand you not liking it if you see it.
I guess it's an acquired taste.
Oh, it is 100% an acquired taste. If you don't think that it's... If you're not annoyed within the first 20 minutes, you will like that movie. Like, you will find that movie hysterical if you are not annoyed within the first, like, 10, 15, 20 minutes.
Then I think I might enjoy it because sometimes I question my own sense of humor. Like, has it been just devolved into...
I quote that fucking movie sometimes. That's how much I love that movie. I want to eat chicken burgers. It's like one of my favorite quotes in that entire fucking movie is just, I want to eat chicken burgers. It's not even it's not even a particularly funny line. It's just how he says it that makes me laugh.
See, sometimes it's just the delivery.
It's just him at the fucking table, depressed that he couldn't get a job, and they're eating meatloaf, or it's roast beef, and he like brings in a chicken sandwich from like McDonald's or something, and his dad fucking berates him for wanting to eat a chicken sandwich, and he gets so pissed. No. And then he's like, you eat that goddamn roast beef or you can go to bed. I don't even... Does he say the chicken burger line there, or does he say it later? I think he says it a little later in the movie.
I think he says it like at the therapy session.
Yes! Yes, it is. Okay, it's when they go to therapy later in the movie and they call back to the dinner scene early on. And it's not connected to anything. He just says, I want to eat chicken burgers. Like, he's talking about how his dad oppresses him and his dad berates him, and that's all he says in response to him is, I just want to eat chicken burgers. Like, that's the worst thing his dad didn't let him do.
Oh man, here I am line that's not inherently funny. It's just the way it's the delivery of the film.
I'm trying to, that's like one of the first things that pops in my head of like a line that's not like inherently funny. It just is because of how the actor says it. Like, that's really hard.
Is Spaceballs near the end, like during the big fight between Lone Star and Dark Helmet?
The CEO Schwartz is as big as mine.
Well, no, that's another one, but it's just the part that I don't know why, but it's die laughing when I hear it. Is remember, Lone Star, evil will always triumph because good is dumb.
I mean, that is a funny line, but like it's delivered in a way that's not supposed to be funny.
The whole movie's just a whole doggone riot.
Oh. In one of the Thumb movies, like the Steve Odekirk Thumb movies, yeah. My favorite scene in all of those fucking movies is in the Blair Thumb, which is the Blair Witch parody. And it's them in their... Have you seen the Blair Thumb?
I think so.
Okay, so it's supposed to be parodying the scene in the movie where they're in their tent and they like start hearing shit outside that like freaks them out. They in the Blair Thumb, they're just like, "Do you hear that? Do you hear that?" And then this fucking shitty rubber shark toy comes through the door, and they all start screaming, "Great white!" No, but my favorite line in that entire exchange is just them screaming of over this handheld cam footage of this shitty rubber shark toy, like shaking back and forth in their tent, and one of them and they're just screaming what to do, and one of them just goes, "It's like, hit it on the nose, hit it on the nose. It's called the snout, dude." But like, it's when one of them is like, "No, you just pissed him off. Don't you watch Discovery?" And it just cuts to the big guy. He's just like, "No, you don't punch him in the nose. It just pisses him off. Don't you watch Discovery?" "I don't have cable." It's my favorite part in the whole movie is just the way he screams, "I don't have cable," as the shark drags the girl away, going, "Take the girl, leave us alone." And I think it turns out it's like a nightmare or something. I don't know if they ever like confirm if it was real or not. But it's, oh my god, it's so fucking funny. Cause it just happens for no reason. Just no fucking reason.
I was trying to look for one movie bit in particular. One movie bit in particular. It wasn't a comedy or anything like that, but the way you described like the rubber shark, like shitty shark toy, being used as like a prop. There was some like I think 50s or 60s like a low budget monster movie called The Mighty Gorga.
Oh, I know that. I know the Mighty Gorga. Yeah, I'm aware of that one.
Where they had like a fucking like dinosaur like boxing toy or something as the monster.
Yeah, isn't that like when they show like a faraway shot at one point, and it's well, it's like the part in the original King Kong versus Godzilla where they show like a faraway shot of them at one point, and I don't know if they've ever confirmed what it was supposed to be, but it looks like little action figures fighting.
That could have been it. It could have been like, you know, like just off cameras, like jostling them. They did that for Action League Now.
Well, I mean, Action League Now was just completely action figures.
Yeah, like it was like stop motion, but then they called it chuckimation, where it's just like literally wiggling the figures in front of the camera.
There's actually a thing. Hello, Battle Boy. There is actually a part in that show that for some reason, ever since I was a kid, got like burned into my brain. And I don't know why, because it wasn't like a stupid funny joke, but I just remember it like stuck with me, and I've always remembered it. And it's what's the big guy's name? I forget I forget how many of them there were. There was a girl. There was the big.
It was the Flesh was the big guy, like a Conan, He-Man type character.
Yeah.
There was Thunder Girl, who was like the Barbie-looking girl. Stinky Diver, who I think was made from a G.I. Joe figure.
I think it was Stinky Diver. I think that's the character I was thinking of, because there
was the last one.
There was a guy that it was them in like a little toy car, and they were going down the stairs or something at one point, and I just remember they were like screaming, and I just remember that it's like the diver just going like, "Hey, aren't these things supposed to have airbags?" Pfft, all right. It just like pops out.
And his voice,
like,
and I voice kind of like this.
Yeah, that's what it was, and I've always remembered that, and I don't remember. That's the only joke and scene I've ever remembered from that show from when I was a kid. It's just, is this thing supposed to have an airbag? All right.
I used to be obsessed with this show because I've always been like like for those that don't know, I've always been like a toy collector, action figure guy. So I just love this show just because of that, and you know. One of my bucket list things is to make like replicas of these characters that I have in my actual collection. But I remember there was one short they did that actually played before Good Burger. With,
Yeah, I did. I
that
remember
had
learning.
Kiss.
I can't imagine being in a theater and seeing something that looked like that on a theater screen.
I mean, they had Kiss, and it was the actual like McFarlane Kiss action figures from the late '90s.
Oh, it wasn't even just like Kiss. It wasn't just like Kiss's people. It was them as their toys too.
Yeah, it was literally their McFarlane figures.
That must
They're
have been the
animated the same
cheapest.
way.
That must have genuinely been like the cheapest fucking show Nickelodeon ever made. Like,
I'm actually gonna look up and see what kit bashes they made for the characters. Let's see, actually, because again, I want to make these guys that have them in my collection.
I feel like Flex was supposed to be like a Stretch Armstrong or something.
I think it was supposed to be a Conan figure, actually.
Oh, I always thought he was supposed to be kind of like a bootleg Stretch Armstrong.
Okay. Because I know they did like a Burger King promotion way back when, the show was actually on the air.
Hello, Stickman
And,
Animation.
And they were talking about they were actually like little figurines of the characters, but they weren't the actual things. It was just okay, someone actually has like a thing here. How to make Stinky Diver. Let's see.
How to make Stinky Diver.
Yeah, I'm gonna see what parts they use for him. What's the base figure? Okay, the base figure is a 1994 G.I. Joe Shipwreck.
Oh, so it was a G.I. Joe figure.
Yeah, I was thinking it was a Cobra Eel at first, but I think the face is different. But that doesn't matter. It's that Shipwreck. Let's see. I think the actual figure was totally Shipwreck. It's the only parts that were changed were like his gloves, one of his belts, his knee pads, and his flippers were all painted red.
Did they not even like edit the They like barely edited the figure.
Yeah, I mean, I think they did some modifications on him, but it literally is just this version of Shipwreck.
I'm
Not
amazed
the
I'm
old
amazed
school
I'm amazed they didn't get in like some kind of legal trouble with that.
Well, he didn't sound like Shipwreck. You know, he didn't sound like this, Skipper. You know, he had that sort of Australian accent, I think. Or maybe
Again,
it's
it's been so many years since I've seen the show. I don't even remember like what the characters sound like. I just like have that vague memory of like that one joke.
Well, Flesh has like a dopey voice, like I said earlier. You know, sort of a dopey voice like this. Ouchies, you know. Thunder Girl is like, I guess, standard female superhero voice. Let's see. Stinky Diver, like I said, he's supposed to be what you would call it? It's Australian, and then Meltman just kind of sound like a regular guy. Let me see who else was what? Because okay, so we figured out Stinky Diver. He's Shipwreck. But what were the others? Yeah, just keep seeing the Burger King toys. I don't want the Burger King toys. I want the actual ones.
I love that like every stream I do, I like almost never talk about the game itself. Like that's just become a thing at this point that I just like don't even talk about the game really, outside of like maybe a handful of times.
Isn't that most streamers nowadays, or am I not not thinking of that.
I mean, they'll talk about like any random shit, really, but like like a lot of times when I do see streamers, they do still like talk about the shit going on in the game, or they'll like talk to people in the comments about it. Like I almost barely talk about the games a lot of the time. Only if it's like something I'm very very passionate about. Which Pikmin 2 is one of my favorite games, but I just don't have a lot to say about it. It's just kind of my whole thing with it.
Okay, I think I found it. So, like I said, Stinky Diver was the '94 shipwreck. The Flesh is a modified Conan the Adventurer figure. And then Thunder Girl is Barbie mixed with a modified She-Ra.
What about Meltman? What's he supposed to be?
I don't know.
Oh, really? Maybe
Yeah,
he was
'cause
maybe he was an original thing they made for it.
Probably. But as for the other characters, they don't say. Because I know there's the Chief. And then the, I don't remember who the main bad guy's name was. And then the Professor who always said there's nothing he could do. But I'm pretty sure those are just like... Pretty sure those are like generic figures. Like, they did like, they did a line back in the 70s and 80s called the Adventure People or Adventure People. I'm willing to bet it's probably one of them. Yeah,
What,
yeah,
like
I was
this,
right. So,
this one toy that like nobody fucking remembers, kind of thing.
Okay, I think I found what Meltman was. He was another G.I. Joe, but a melted G.I. Joe Cobra figure, either a soldier, trooper, or even Cobra Commander himself. They don't specify which one. The Chief and the Mayor were compilations of multiple Play School People dolls. So it's like they went to the local charity shop or Goodwill, got a bunch of random toys, and then just did kit bashes and said, "Oh, these are our characters."
I mean, it's like, again, I'm very curious as to how they didn't get sued by some companies.
They modified them enough to
Where it worked is where it was parody.
You know, is this parody? Because it wasn't like Stinky Diver is a legitimately shipwreck.
Oh, see, the way you described it originally made me think that it was just like Shipwreck that they tweaked like a couple things.
No, like the version of Shipwreck that was used for the figure was not the same one like from the '80s line, where he's just like a sailor. No, he's in like an actual diving suit. The face doesn't even look like Shipwreck. Like the one I know has like that sort of Tom Selleck look going on. This
Well,
one
yeah,
has,
he's
like,
got the red
full-on,
beard
like,
and
French
mustache.
Yeah, this one says like a French mustache. So I don't know if they like changed the character designs in the '90s because the G.I. Joe I remember is the '80s version and maybe Tiger Force, and that was the early '90s, like '91, I think. But that's the only G.I. Joes I remember. And that's the ones that most people seem to remember, because the toys that are making now are based on the '80s ones.
Well, it's always the
80s
80s
design.
ones. It's always the 80s designs with shit like that.
Unless they explicitly say it's from a different subline, like they're doing like Target versions of the Cobra and Joes. The Joes are Tiger Force, and then the Cobras are Python Patrol. And both of them had like a very like unique aesthetic for each of them. So Tiger Force had like tiger stripes and shit, and Python Patrol had this sort of garish light green and dark red color scheme. The fact that they modernized it doesn't exactly help matters. And I wish I could show you guys what I'm talking about.
God, I fucking hate these things. I hate how they make them move. Also the sounds. I hate them.
Why do they have to make such a disgusting sounding?
I hate them. I fucking hate caterpillars. And I remember seeing these things as a kid, like, freaked me out, because I fucking hate caterpillars. And I hate how much they move like actual fucking caterpillars. And
Well,
they
you gotta
give
give
them these
Nintendo
really
points for
creepy,
effort.
weird, like, squelchy, like... And when they fall, they make like a fucking like weird screechy sound.
I guess you gotta give it to Nintendo for accuracy.
Already 100 Pikmin in the field. No, there's 95. So there's 100. I don't know what it's talking about. There's only 95 listed.
Rip.
I love how anytime a fucking creature dies in this game, it's they treat it like an actual fucking animal dying. Or like well, anytime, because a lot of them are insect themed, so a lot of the times when they die, they just like turn over and they like start like twitching right before they like just drop dead. So they treat it like you're actually, like what would happen if a fucking bug died, basically. Like it fucking, like just falls over and just dies. Or it like makes like little twitches before it dies.
From what people have told me, like with this game, apparently Louis is just a giant.
He's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Well, and I love in Pikmin 4 they bring him back, and he's still a piece of shit. No, you want to know? Well, because you know. Do you know the plot of this game?
Vaguely, I think.
It takes place immediately after the first game. You got home after you got all the parts of your ship.
Yeah, there was a one.
You got home after you repaired all the parts of your ship, and what ended up happening was you get back to your job, and they're like, "Oh, well, unfortunately, we had to pay off some debts, including your ship." So, the ship that you spent the entire game repairing last time, it got sold. So, you got foreclosed, and they sold your thing, and basically the company that you work for is now in a shit ton of debt, so now you have to go around collecting these treasures to get the money to get back to pay off their debt. Also, as you could have noticed, these are all actual fucking brands.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there is, like, references to 7-Up and Duracell and Fanta and, like, a bunch of different companies in this game. And it's really weird that they got the license. Yeah, they had to get removed when they ported it to the Switch. But it's really, really weird every time I look back at this game and I see all the actual genuine licenses in here.
They had to do the same thing with Monkey Ball whenever they did the remakes of those. Because it was very heavy Dole branding in the original GameCube one.
If freaking Death Stranding ever gets like ever gets like ported to like another console in the future, they better make sure to get that Monster Energy brand back.
Oh no, every time I see brand deals in like big games, I always think about like, that's such a bad idea because that shit could end, if you end up like reporting that game, you're not going to be able to use those again.
Yeah, you got to retexture it.
Yeah.
Oh, and as I was saying, so yeah, so you have to pay off the debt that your job owes, and you end up finding out that what originally they were going to do, there were these gold pick carrots, which were worth a lot of money, and that was going to help pay off their debt. And they disappeared, and they don't know what happened to them. Louis fucking ate them.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I have several questions.
Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper.
But yeah, no. Louis ate them. And they never find that out. The only reason that we know that that happened was because I think if you 100% the game, there's a little cutscene that plays that shows you like, oh, and Louis snuck aboard the ship and ate all the pick carrots. So you end up finding out that Louis is literally the entire reason that this shit happened.
God damn it, Louis.
Oh, and then you accidentally leave him behind at the halfway point of this game. Because here's the thing. Once you pay off the debt, there's a whole other part of this game.
Huh.
Because you actually, if I recall correctly, you don't get, the final area of the game doesn't get unlocked until you pay off the debt. Because there's 4 areas and they're all based on different seasons. And you don't get to the fall area until after you pay off the debt. Because then the rest of the game is you trying to figure out what happened to Louis. And you end up finding out that Louis, I guess ended up teaming up with this thing called the Titan Weevil, which is a giant-ass robot spider.
Oh.
That happens to shoot fire, electricity, water, and poison.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and in the 4th game, you end up finding out that he's also been doing some bullshit, and he also ends up teaming up with one of the monsters at the end of the game. And for some reason, they keep wanting to get him. I'm like, this kid, he's fucking pure evil. You need to stop him. He's fucking pure evil. He needs to rot in a jail cell or get the death sentence, either one. He has repeatedly tried to kill people, and he's fucked over a company on 2 different occasions.
I'm guessing deportation is out of the question.
They just leave him on another planet.
Yeah. Just shoot him into the sun.
Also, hello people that joined. Hello, Evan Rossman and Darkness.
Hello, Rossman. Hello, Darkness.
My old friend.
Hello. Hello.
I've come to talk with you
Talk to
again.
you again. He's come to sub to you again.
Well, it sounds like he's already... That he, she, they.
Sub.
I don't know what your pronouns are. It sounds like they're already
Nice
subbed.
on the sub.
Sounds like they're already a sub.
Sub above.
Pikmin hybrids. I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, me neither.
I assume that's like a fan game or something, or like a mod. Oh, it's a video. Okay.
Okay. See, I was thinking of some sort of fan game. Like, why?
It sounded like a Pikmin hybrid. Sounds like a fan game.
Why does it sound like the Pikmin are saying "fuck yeah"?
Fuck yeah, fuck yeah, fuck yeah, fuck yeah.
Like I was caught off guard for a second. I was like, wait, are they yeah?
I always thought it was more like yeah, 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 yeah. I always thought it was more like that.
Dude, you'll have to forgive me. I'm a complete, just equals hybrids too. Okay. Also, totally off topic. My dog is shedding like crazy.
I thought you were about to say your dog is shitting like crazy.
No shedding. Like I'm petting her and like get like little tufts of hair as I go through.
Look up Gamma Tape. I'm actually curious because I saw the name Gamma Tape. Is that a brand or was that a brand?
Gamma tape. Okay.
Yeah, I saw that on the list on the name of the tape roll that I just picked up. Is Gamma Tape a brand? Or was it a brand, I guess? This game is 20 years old.
Gamma tape. Okay, let's see here. On Google.
Are you not seeing anything?
No, I'm just waiting for this doggone thing to show up. They don't want to know if Gamma. They
The
want
Gamma Tape,
to
it's a
take the whole thing.
conspiracy. Gamma Tape, it's a conspiracy created by Nintendo.
What is Gamma tape? It says here it's the perfect racket or pickleball paddle customization tape for increasing weight or swing weight.
So it's a real thing.
Whatever it is probably some sort of generic name because.
Well, it was a pretty generic looking logo. That's why I was wondering if it was a real thing or it was like a thing that they just made up for the
game. I guess it's a type of tape because again, like I'm getting one of them's electronics, one of them is like racquetball, pickleball, like to help increase grip.
Oh, so it must be like sports tape or something.
Yeah, sports lead tape. Yeah, lead tape. So I don't necessarily think that's a brand per se. I'm not getting.
It's just it's a type of tape.
Type of tape. Yeah, the amount of brands in this game is making me think of that bit from Wade's World with the sellout.
I will never bow to a sponsor.
And like Garth is decked out head to toe, and it's like people only do things
like some people do because they get paid,
and
that's
really
like really sad.
That's just Pikmin right now. Dr. Pepper, Duracell,
Sprite, 7-Up, Duracell, Dr. Pepper. I know that there's a lot of other shit in this game too, but that's like those are like the only ones I can remember because those are also the ones they've shown.
Yes, I'm a pepper, but are you a pepper?
Dr. Pepper.
It is the choice of a new generation.
I've never liked Dr. Pepper. I've never really liked any soda, like sodas that all like kind of look the same, like RC and Sprite and Dr. Pepper and Coca-Cola. Like I've never been a fan of any of like that generic brown syrupy kind of like soda.
Well, see, I like RC because my hometown made it. It was made here in Columbus, so it's kind of a requirement to drink it here. You know what I mean? is like part of the natural like local flavor. But Dr. Pepper, I like it on occasion, but sometimes it's a little sweet, like too sweet. You know what I mean? But I heard of something cursed the other day. How many of you have ever heard of hot Dr. Pepper?
I've heard of hot Dr. Pepper. Actually, the only reason I even know about hot Dr. Pepper is because of fucking the movie Blast from the Past.
I heard about it from a few places because I first heard of it from my ex who she lived in Texas where Dr. Pepper's a big thing, and like apparently that was a thing like they did back in the 60s, and I looked into it, and they did it because apparently the sales for Dr. Pepper were fine in the summer because you could enjoy it cold, but they kind of went downward in the wintertime because who's going to want a cold drink when it's already cold? So they decided, well, let's make a recipe with it and boil it to where the carbonation's gone and serve it over lemon, like piping hot.
Well,
and you
because
got like sort of an herby kind of medicinal tasting drink.
yeah, when in the movie Blast from the Past, because that movie takes place, well, it starts out in the 50s or early 60s. I think it's supposed to be the late 50s, but the movie starts out in the late 50s because it's about a family who thinks that a bomb got dropped in their city, and they go into their bunker, and they stay in that bunker for 30 years. And then it's about their son, who's played by Brendan Fraser, who, like, goes up to the world, and he's got, like, the 50s mindset. So he's like,
See, hot Dr. Pepper didn't exist until like the late 60s.
Well, in the movie, they treat it like it's a weird thing. Because in the movie, they talk about, because the dad is played by Christopher Walken. And he has this quirk where he likes hot Dr. Pepper. And anytime they bring it up, everybody thinks it's weird.
Well, it was weird. It's just a weird marketing gimmick.
Well, yeah, it's weird. But, like,
I mean, they even had, I think William Shatner, or it was either William Shatner or Dick Clark in their ads. Probably Dick Clark.
But yeah,
it's like, Dr. Pepper's the drink you enjoy hot or cold.
Yeah, and Christopher Walken has this little quirk where he likes hot Dr. Pepper, and every time people bring it up, they're like, he liked hot Dr. Pepper? And even in the 50s, when the house is destroyed because something falls in their house and that's what they think is the bomb, the investigator is like, he liked it hot? Jesus Christ. Like, even they treat it like it's a weird thing.
It didn't necessarily fly off the shelves. It didn't help them with that.
Like, so it was a recipe. Like, you had to boil it.
You had to boil it. You had to actually serve it up, like, piping hot over a slice of lemon. And I've heard that it's actually kind of okay. Like, it's not as cursed as it sounds. And this is coming from that era, that atomic age era of cursed gastronomy.
You mean in that era where they would have fucking actual uranium in children's chemical sets?
The kind where they casually pair up Jell-O and mayonnaise and canned tuna fish.
The period where there was lead and literally fucking everything.
Well, that's probably how they came up with those recipes, then, I guess. That are overzealous Hellman's Mayo people that want to try to cook up any sort of recipe in order to put it into a magazine. All these old ads had like recipes, like survey suggestions, like, oh yeah, pick up some Hellman's mayonnaise and you can make this delicious dish and be the toast at a next dinner party. Or get tossed out and told never to come here again. Anyway.
Yeah, or literally be told, this is fucking disgusting, you're not invited to my parties anymore.
Get excommunicated from your church because you brought it to the potluck. Anyway, what were you going to say?
I fucking forgot. Oh wait. I remember learning that apparently fucking lead poisoning or like lead is apparently hereditary.
What?
Meaning that apparently lead poisoning can be passed on.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, so if you've had any sort of like, if you have a relative that had any sort of like mental deterioration from lead at any point in their life, aka pretty much anybody born before 1980, that can be passed on genetically.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, so if your parents had any sort of lead ingestion or played with lead at any point, like lead paint or anything like that, yeah, you might have a little bit of lead poisoning in your body.
I'm in danger.
I mean, you're not gonna die from it, but it's like you might have, like, a slight bit of lead poisoning because of that. I don't know if that's 100% true, but I've heard that for several years that like lead in the blood can be passed on hereditarily.
Now, I was being a little facetious when I said that.
Fucking finally. There we go. Where's the other one? There you are. I also know that he has Olimar has little logs for each of the treasures that he collects and also the creatures that you see in this game. And also, I fucking love the Piclopedia. It's like my favorite thing about this game is that you can basically watch the fucking creatures and interact with them.
You just say Piclopedia?
Yes, there's a thing in this game called the Piclopedia, which is basically Olimar's diary on Olimar and Louis' diaries on like each of the monsters in this world. And basically every time you encounter a new one, it gets added to the Piclopedia, and you can read like his little journals on like what he thinks of them and analysis. Though Louis is particularly funny because every single one Louis writes has to do with him eating them.
So basically it's the Pokedex.
Pretty much, yeah, but it's Olimar's version of the Pokedex and Louis' version of a fucking cookbook. Because Louis, I think in every single one just details, hey, I think this one would taste really good if I did this, or if I cut it up like this, or served it like this. Actually, let me end the day. I want to show you that. My wife. Yeah, let me show you this. Yeah, he has his own little notes on everything. Large organism has the familiar mandibles and cranial morphology of the grub dog family, as well as the characteristic bulging eyes. As with most grub dogs, the creature's cranium compromises half of its total length and girth. This creature is primarily nocturnal, choosing to prey upon smaller creatures returning to their nests. Originally classified as the spotty bulborb, further research has reclassified this species as the red bulborb. Subspecies of varied colors have recently been discovered, but academics are divided into two rival camps over how to handle their classifications. And you can hit it, and it'll eat all the carrots. It's just cool. I always love in any like fictional piece, especially if it's like science fiction or fantasy. I just like seeing how shit that doesn't exist moves. I just like seeing how inventive they had to be with creating an imaginary creature and like the things and how it moves and how it eats, and I don't know, I've just always thought that's really fucking cool. Wake up, 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 wake up. This is the one that always annoys me because it always stays asleep. Like, this is one that you can't get to do anything in the Piclopedia. Oh shit, James died. Steph. I'm just making sure you're alive because James just died. What do we got? Trying to remember. What Biodome was the worst movie you'd ever seen, right?
For me?
Yeah, I wanted to say I remember you said that was the worst movie you'd ever seen.
Yeah.
It's definitely in my top. I know it's in my top 15. Number 9. Yeah. There was one I actually didn't mention earlier with worst comedies, Disaster Movie.
Oh god.
I watched that on my own free will because I genuinely wanted to see how bad it was. I genuinely wanted to see how bad it was. I was not prepared for it to actually be that bad. Like, I had a very strong feeling this is probably going to end up in my worst movies I've ever seen list. Not only that, it ended up almost in the top 5. Like, it is awful. Like, it is, like, trash on, like, another level of how fucking bad it is. Like, it is trash. Like, just pure fucking trash.
Yeah, I remember, like, there was, like, a period of time during, like, the late 2000s, early 2010s where, like, it was, like, every year or so, like...
It was, like, every year. Like, it was, like, 2004 to, like, 2011, I think.
Yeah, they just put out, like, these fucking god-awful, like, parody films that are, like... They're just, like, references to, like...
It's just... Well... References to, like, every movie and, like, current, like, pop culture event that was, like, going on at the time. So by the time they would come out, most of the time they'd just be outdated.
Yeah.
They'd either be outdated, like, there'd either be, like, a reference that's completely outdated, or it would be for a movie that wasn't even a big hit. Like, that would be the other thing.
From what I've heard, like, they, like, in most
They would
cases,
watch the trailers, and they wouldn't actually see the movies.
Yeah, it was, like, before the movies even, like, came out for people to watch, they were just like, trailer, let's make a joke about that in our piece of shit movie.
Well, yeah, I remember that was, like, the whole thing, because with Disaster Movie, there's a scene where fucking Po from Kung Fu Panda shows up. No fucking reason, he just does. And there's a line where he literally says, "Hell no, Kung Fu Panda," which I'm like, okay, so yeah, they didn't even see the fucking movie because they didn't even call him by name.
Mm-hmm. I always forget that like one of the main characters is played by, of all people, Matt Lanter.
Matt Lanter, fucking Anakin from the Clone Wars.
Yeah. And
There's a few very weird people in some of those movies. Like fucking Ike Barinholtz from, like, I think Mad TV plays several characters in that movie. I mean, Deborah Wilson from Mad is also in one of the Scary Movies. I mean, the funnier thing is that from what I know, apparently the productions of those movies are, like, surprisingly, like, some of the people that have worked on those movies have said they were a lot of fun to make. Which, I mean, I could imagine a film like that would probably be fun to make, but not fun to watch. Because, like, it's one of those things where, like, I could see how this could be fun to, like, make. Because I know that the directors themselves have, like, openly acknowledged they're making dog shit. Like, they've openly done it several times. Hell, they literally would bring film critics onto their commentary tracks. Like... Which, I'm honestly, I gotta give them kind of credit. I kind of gotta give them credit for that. That's honestly pretty impressive that they have the self-awareness to go, yeah, we know we're making dog shit. We don't really care. And we'll bring people that hate our movies onto our commentaries. I don't even remember what the last one was. Was it fucking, like, Starving Games? I think that was, like, the last one they did. Dandy.
Yeah, hi. I was waiting for you to acknowledge that I am here.
Well, I didn't know you were here because OBS, I'm in streamer mode right now, so I can't hear people join.
No, you're good. So I wanted to wait until... I mean, I didn't want to be like, hello, and they'd be like, what the fuck? What are you doing here? Like...
I mean, it's a stream. You're allowed to join. We were just talking about, like, shitty movies, and we were talking about, like, some of the worst movies we'd seen, and I'd brought up Disaster Movie, and we were just talking about the fucking Seltzer Freeberg shit parody movies.
Yeah, I was gonna say is, you know, because... I think because, you know, movies like Disaster Movie and Scary Movie, it all started because of airplanes. Because airplanes... Yeah.
Well, Airplane, but
Airplane. Yeah.
yeah, no, it's all because of Airplane. Airplane was the thing that started the whole family tree of parody.
Yeah.
Well, technically it's Mel Brooks, but Airplane was
Yeah.
the thing that started them specifically.
Yeah. I actually had no idea that it was a parody of the 1950s film 0 Hour.
Well, yeah, most people don't, because it was a fucking obscure TV movie that no one saw.
Yeah.
The only reason that they even made the movie was because they were trying to think of an idea for a new film, and I think they were like recording the television or something at some point, or they were trying to like do something with the TV, and they flipped to a random channel, and they ended up watching this movie called fucking 0 Hour, and they were like, let's do a parody of this because nobody's gonna give enough of a shit.
If I remember, I think they managed to buy the script. And
Yeah, they bought the
it was like
rights.
$2,000.
Yeah, they bought the rights to it because nobody gave a shit. It was some obscure TV movie that nobody
Yeah.
saw.
And they made bank.
And now that's the only thing people know that movie for.
Yep. It's a good movie. It's well written for its satire. Like some of its one-liners are hilarious. Like one of them is when when the woman is trying to look for a doctor and he sees
He has a
I forgot the name.
stethoscope.
Yeah, he has like a stethoscope.
He just has a
Are you
fucking
doctor?
stethoscope for no
Yeah,
reason.
he just has it, and she has to ask like, "Hey, are you a doctor?" And he's like, "Yes." We have to take all these people to a hospital. A hospital? Like, what's that?
My favorite joke in any of the Naked Gun or like the Zucker Brother things, because I haven't seen all their shit, but
Yeah.
one of my favorite jokes in any of their shit is from Police Squad, the movie, not the movie that predates Naked Gun, or the show that predates Naked Gun. And there's a line where Leslie Nielsen shows up in the fucking bad guy's office and he goes, "Who are you? How'd you get in here?" "I'm a locksmith." "And I'm a locksmith."
And I also am a locksmith.
No, I just love that fucking joke so much.
It just catches you off guard because it's like, oh. I guess like another line. I mean, I don't know if this is. It's a Seth MacFarlane movie. It's The Million Ways to Die, but the only thing I've never watched the movie actually, but the one line
I've
that
seen
I do
bits
know,
and pieces of it, and everyone tells me the best jokes are in the trailer. So,
well, someone told me the only best joke was in the beginning where Seth MacFarlane's coming back and the guy's just like, "You're late," and he's like, "For what?" Fair enough.
the only part that I have seen for that movie that wasn't in the trailer was the part with Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, Abraham Lincoln's in it?
No, Gilbert Gottfried as Abraham Lincoln is in it.
Oh, wow, okay.
Well, the joke, I think it's supposed to be like a cutaway joke, and it's them at like a school ceremony or something, and it's supposed to take place, I think, right before Lincoln got assassinated, and it's fucking Gilbert Gottfried dressed up as Abraham Lincoln. It's like, "Hey, you schmucks! I'm the fucking president, and because of that..." No, it's, "I'm the fucking president, and because I'm the fucking president, I get to eat all the licorice I want!" And he's just like scream, and it just goes, Seth MacFarlane just goes, "I don't think that's the real President Lincoln." And that's the whole scene. It serves no fucking purpose in the entire movie. It's just this one weird cutaway with Gilbert Gottfried. And that's like the only scene of the entire movie I've watched.
Oh my god. I mean, I think it's great that they just decided to get Gilbert Gottfried to play as Abraham Lincoln just for one scene. They didn't even need it, but they just thought, fuck it, this is a dumb movie anyway, so let's just make it dumb. Let's just fuck around with it.
Also the weird Back to the Future joke. That's like that's the other part of the movie I've seen. Oh well, they have Christopher Lloyd play Doc Brown in the movie.
Oh right, because
Well, yeah, because there's a scene where he goes into like a barn and he sees Christopher Lloyd cover something up with like a tarp, and it's the DeLorean, and he's like, "What's that?" And he's like, "It's a weather experiment," and that's it. That's like the whole scene is just he just walks in on fucking Christopher Lloyd as Doc Brown for this like 10-second cameo. Because it's supposed to be like a reference to Back to the Future 3.
I at least like that reference. At least that's a good reference. Wowie zowie. Actually, I gotta use the restroom real quick. I will be right back.
Alright. Actually, I had to go to the bathroom too now that I think about it. I'll be right back. Ugh. Hui. Hui. I actually don't remember. Can I not get through there without going through the water? I actually don't remember.
All right, I'm back.
There you are.
Here I am. So I recently watched The Last Unicorn for the first time.
Yeah. I almost did that for a movie night a long time ago.
Yeah, I was actually kind of thinking about that when I was going to the bathroom, but I also kind of was gone for a little longer because I had to get some laundry, but I'm pretty much all set now. But yeah, it was the first time seeing it. I really liked it. It has its flaws, but I think I just love it for its visuals.
I keep telling myself I need to rewatch it because I don't like it. And I've watched it twice, and both times I watched it, I did not like it. Like, I don't know. I thought it was too fucking weird. I thought the editing was really weird. I didn't really connect with any of the characters. I don't know. I feel like I need to watch it again because it's been a few years, but every time I've watched it, I just haven't enjoyed it.
It's kind of a very hardcore fairy tale like story because
I do. Well, that I like some. There are some hardcore fairy tale movies I do really like. So that's not. I know that's not the issue.
No, like what I mean is you're right because the characters kind of just show up and we don't really get to understand who they are.
Well, I was gonna say
there really
more
isn't
so.
that
I
much
just. I was gonna say more so. I just think the movie has a really bad tonal problem, and also there's just a lot of weird, unexplained shit, or just things happen that just confused me more than anything. So I don't really know what to. Anytime I've ever tried to watch it, I just don't. I just can't get into it. That or I get really bored. That's like the two things I've felt every time I've watched that movie.
I think once the unicorn and the wizard guy and the girl, they go to the castle. I think that's when it starts to get pretty boring.
Oh, see, yeah, I was gonna say that's the part where I start getting really bored is when the villain shows up. Like that's when I start getting bored.
And that sucks because that's Christopher fucking Lee as the villain.
I know.
Web. Stonehenge. So, what are your thoughts on this game so far?
It's one of my favorite games. I've played it many times.
Oh, same. I've heard people. Well, the reason why I ask is because I've heard people say that this game is kind of weird. Like, I think mostly because of like the dungeon mechanic.
Oh, see, my least favorite is the first one. Like, I don't really enjoy the first game very much.
Yeah, I think that's the issue, is that there's some people that like it because they enjoy doing time management, and then there's some people that like to just play it casually. And then Pikmin 3 kind of does a bit of both.
Oh, I really like Pikmin 3, and I would say technically it is the best one, but I just like this one so fucking much. Like, that's just kind of my thing, is that I just get the most out of this one every time I play it.
Mm-hmm. This one's a lot more of a strategy game, where you have to really figure out...
I wouldn't even say that. It's more just treasure hunting type game.
Mm-hmm. Super good. And you get to kill these monster creatures.
I mean, that's every Pikmin game.
Oh, yeah.
God damn it, another one.
I don't think I've ever beaten this game though. That's one thing.
Well, if we're talking completion, like gotten everything, no, I've never done that, but I have beaten the game before.
Well, there's one item that's actually the hardest to get if you want 100% it. And
Oh, I've gotten that item before.
oh,
Like,
really?
You're talking about the like 1,000 Pikmin.
Yeah. You have to
Yeah.
have like 100.
You have to have 100 purple Pikmin. Which, yeah, no, I've gotten that thing before. But because there's an easy way to cheese 100 to get 100 purple Pikmin. You just have to keep going down. You just have to go to like a very specific cavern.
But the thing is that it takes a while. That's
That's the thing. You have to basically grind for purple Pikmin.
yeah,
And
which
it
is a
takes,
pain in
it
the
takes
ass.
like 20, 30 minutes to do.
Yeah. Which is better that if you have an emulator, you can just speed up the process. Probably get it
Well,
done in like
there's
10
actually
minutes.
a way to cheese the dungeons in this game. You
Oh,
don't
wait, I think I know.
you don't have to have Pikmin. Here's the thing. If you just leave your Pikmin at the start, you can just run as Olimar all the way to the fucking hole.
Yeah, and then
To be fair, there are
then
several caves where you need the Pikmin, but like there are some dungeons where you don't need to at all. In fact, the final dungeon, like the one where the Titan Dweevil is, I don't think there's almost any dungeons where you need the Pikmin. Like, you can just leave them at the start and just run straight to the hole, and you'll just have all your Pikmin once you, like, go down the hole.
Oh yeah. So then
Yeah, that's how I got to the Titan Dweevil the first time, was I just fucking cheesed it because I didn't want to fucking bother to go down, like, fucking 12 fucking levels to get to the fucking boss. Because I knew I was gonna lose all my fucking Pikmin if I did that.
that's interesting. Because usually it's like, oh, just collect as much treasure as you can on the way down. But even then, it's like you're already
about to. You're literally on the final stretch of the game. Fuck the treasure. You already got the fucking treasure. You don't need any more. Unless you want 100% the game, you don't need to collect the treasure once you get to the halfway point. Like, that's kind of a thing, is like, once the debt is paid off, you don't really need to collect any more treasure. Like, you can just cheese the dungeons if you want, for the most part. And again, to be fair, there are a lot of dungeons where you need the Pikmin. Like, you can't just, like, ignore all the fucking areas to get to the end. Like, no, you need the Pikmin to knock down walls or things like that to get to the end.
Yeah. Man, the one dungeon I still need to try is the submerged castle. That's the one that everybody loves.
Oh, that's the one with the fucking, the water
water
beast.
wraith.
Yeah, the water
Yeah,
wraith.
the one, yeah.
I think I'm probably going to end the stream here. So,
Okay.
thank you for everyone who came out to the stream tonight. I hope you have a good rest of
Yes.
your night, and goodbye.
Yes. Goodbye. Goodbye. And remember,